The Mysterious Dream. Written by Hugo Eales. Illustrated by Tom Bonson. Charlotte woke up. It was very dark, and she was so sleepy she could hardly open her eyes. "Wow," she whispered. "What an amazing dream."
"Yes, it was,"
said Teddy in a muffled voice, his head stuck under the duvet.
"We should tell Tabitha."
Charlotte lifted the duvet and stared at Teddy. Had he really just spoken? Or was she still asleep? She gently pulled him out by his furry legs. "Teddy," she whispered, "did you talk to me?" Teddy stared back. "It must have been part of my dream," she said. "How silly of me to think that Teddy can talk. But wouldn't it be amazing if he did?" She smiled at him, imagining him chattering away to her. And then she realized the dream had gone. She had forgotten it. Oh, no! "Now where is Tabitha?" she said, peering into the darkness. "I think I would like to ask her about the dream." Tabitha was curled up asleep, snoring softly on the beanbag in the corner of her room. Charlotte picked Teddy up and slipped out of bed to sit next to her kitten. "Can you, Teddy, or you, Tabitha, remember my dream?" she whispered. Tabitha kept snoring, and Teddy stared quietly at Charlotte. "Let me see if I can remember," she said, picking Tabitha up and giving her a little squeeze. Tabitha's eyes opened very wide in surprise at being woken up. "Sorry, Tabby, to wake you. I'm trying to remember a dream. Can you help?" Tabitha yawned and closed her eyes again. Charlotte put her back down on the beanbag. Tabitha obviously wanted to sleep and not help her with her dream. She closed her eyes tightly and tried to remember. She could see a big yellow and orange sun which was setting in the sky, but she was sure there hadn't been a sunset in the dream. And why was she sitting in a tree? She looked down and saw a large and very colorful dinosaur looking at her. She was feeding him a big leaf, and he was happily and loudly munching on it. "No, it can't be that," she said quietly. "That must have been another dream." "Ah," she said, "I'm sure it was dark in the dream." She imagined sitting on a tree stump in a misty wood. Looking through the mist, she saw many eyes staring back at her from all the woodland animals. "Aren't they beautiful at night?" she thought to herself, so as not to disturb any of them. And then 2 huge amber eyes came directly towards her. She felt the wings of the large owl move the air as he flew silently over her head and away into the night. "Ooh," said Charlotte, "that was a little too spooky. But my dream wasn't spooky at all. Was it, Teddy?" Teddy said nothing. "Got it," she said to Teddy, who continued to look at her. "I remember being warm and cozy." She thought of her old dog Rusty, a big, friendly golden retriever who she used to cuddle lots and lots. "No," she said sadly. Rusty had gone to heaven when she was a really small girl, and she missed him a lot. The dream wasn't about Rusty. She thought again. She knew the dream had been an incredibly happy one. but she didn't remember there being a hungry dinosaur, a spooky owl, or a big, friendly golden retriever. So what was it? She rubbed her tired eyes and looked around the room. She stared hard at her wardrobe and remembered all the mysterious noises she had heard last night, and all the amazing things she had imagined, and all the toys that had fallen out. "Do you think," she said quietly, looking at Teddy, "that my dream could have been an adventure from last night, with the dragon, or the tiger, or the wizard?" Teddy looked as if he was smiling back, and she gave him a big hug. She scrunched her eyes up and thought really hard, and slowly another image came to life in her mind. "Yes, of course!" she said, throwing Teddy in the air and catching him and accidentally waking Tabitha up. "Meow," Tabitha protested. In her dream, she was sitting on a big rock in the middle of a river. A big, happy hippo was playing in the river, and birds of all colors were flying around above him, their wings like a soft breeze on her face. In amongst the reeds and on the rocks all around her, lots of animals were looking at her strangely, as if to say, "What are you doing here in the middle of the river?" She looked at the frog and the big brown toad and all the strange types of bugs and the pretty green grasshopper. She could almost hear their little voices. "No," she said firmly, stroking Tabitha, who started purring in her sleep. "My bottom would have been wet if I'd been sitting on a rock in a river, and I don't remember feeling wet." She pulled Teddy up to her face and looked him in the eyes very deeply. "Do you know," she said slowly, "I think I might just have remembered." In her mind's eye, she was sitting on a ledge, looking at a very tall old man. He had a long, bushy beard, and in it she was sure she could see lots of little people smiling and hiding. The man looked very happy. She looked closer and laughed as, sure enough, there were lots of little people having fun, running around and hiding in the beard. The old man looked at her with a kind smile. But then the image faded. "Oh no," she said. "That wasn't it at all." Charlotte looked out of the window and could see the clouds covering the moon. She could hear the soft split-splat of raindrops on the window. Her mind wandered again. It was raining in her mind now, and she was sitting under an umbrella under a big, dark cloud, and lightning was flashing all around. Huge raindrops were splashing on the birds and bees who were trying to feed on the flowers and worms. Charlotte felt sorry for them because they were getting very wet. A big flash of lightning lit up the sky, and then boom came the thunder. Charlotte jumped. "Nope, that was definitely not my dream," she said. "I like storms, but only when I'm tucked up safe and warm in bed." Charlotte yawned. It must be very late, and she really should be getting back to bed, but she so badly wanted to remember her mysterious dream. "Come on," she said to Teddy. "Time for bed." She moved Tabitha to the nice warm spot she had been sitting on, and went back to bed with Teddy tucked under her arm. Wrapping herself in the duvet, nice and snug, with Teddy next to her, Charlotte put her head on the pillow and yawned very sleepily. Suddenly, her eyes opened in a big, sleepy stare. I've got it, she said to Teddy in a tired whisper. I remember my dream. I was so warm and safe and happy. Then her eyelids started drooping again. Yes, said Teddy softly with a smile. It was a really happy dream. Don't you think, Tabitha? Go to sleep, Teddy, said Tabitha grumpily. We can tell her in the morning. Charlotte drifted back to sleep with a big smile on her face. Maybe she would go back to the dream. Maybe tomorrow she would remember. But we all know how difficult it can be to remember a dream the next morning, don't we? And teddies and kittens really don't talk, do they? Teddy and Tabitha closed their eyes, and quietly they tiptoed back into Charlotte's dream.
Thank you for coming to the story room. If you like this story, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe.